Hey guys, it's ChannelBK. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to my final list, finally. I'm sorry if it's really bright. I try to figure out the lighting as best as I can, but these are my top 10 movies of 2014. Now, I didn't see every single movie under the sun. There was a lot of movies that just recently came out I caught up seeing, just so I could get a sense of where they would be on my list. But in the description below, I'm gonna have sort of a list of movies that I didn't end up seeing that I think maybe would have ended up on the list, as well as some runners-up, so like my 13, 12, and 11 picks. But without further ado, here's my actual top 10 movies of 2014. Number 10 is the movie that everybody was talking about this year, the hugest blockbuster, really, and the biggest movie of the summer, Guardians of the Galaxy. This was a movie that, even though it was very simple and basic, it was one of the most fun times I've ever had at a movie. All the characters I thought were great for the most part. It was a lot of fun. Soundtrack was great. This is something that, Marvel came into this franchise with sort of a little bit of nervousness because we didn't know how well it was going to do, but it ended up exceeding everyone's expectations, and I really thought it was a fun movie, and I definitely think it deserves the number 10 spot. At number 9 is actually a little bit more of a complexer comic book movie. XMen Days of Future Past. This was a movie that I was super excited to see because I'm a huge fan of X-Men, and this movie definitely lived up to it. Sure, like 85% of everything in it was able to connect well. Obviously, there's still certain things that don't make sense and plot holes, but I understood what they were trying to do with this movie. It was sort of like to get all the universes connected into one, and I thought for the most part they did a very good job, very complex. Number 8 is the movie that I did a review for, and I definitely started thinking about it more and more as time went on, in a good way and in a bad way, but I still think, even though there's still a couple little things I thought wrong with it, I still really love this movie, and that is Interstellar, Christopher Nolan's new movie. I think this was a movie that I didn't want to go into disappointed because I really just want to go in fresh, but I think in terms of a general sort of idea based around this, I thought it was great. I thought there was certain character stuff that was either annoying or not done well enough, and I thought the ending was a little too perfect, and I thought there was some really weird things about the ending, but overall I still really liked the movie. Number 7 made us sing about how everything is awesome. Lego Movie. Lego Movie was something that before going into it I was nervous because it had like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It came out of that movie, definitely lived up to the hype. Smart, funny, clever, so much fun. It was such a thrill ride, and I think in terms of the humor, it just hit the mark for the most part. In general, it was such a creative idea, even though certain aspects were simple. It was very shockingly emotional, and I don't know, I just thought this was a very fun movie, and something that I feel like surprised a lot of people. Number 6 is actually a movie a lot of people didn't really see, I don't think, this year, and that is Frank. This is the movie with Domhnall Gleeson, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Scoot McNairy, as well as Michael Fassbender playing Frank. This movie was something that I was not expecting. It was a very dark comedy feeling movie, and it got darker and darker, but I feel like the end of the third act where everything comes together, some people didn't follow it through. I was very moved, and I was super impressed, including Michael Fassbender, who I think this movie's certainly gonna get overlooked for a lot of things, but this is definitely a movie that, please watch this. I know it's going to be on Netflix this month in January, so please watch it. It's an excellent movie. Number 5 is a movie that, again, had a super high expectation for me going into it, but coming out of it, I was certainly blown away, and that is Snowpiercer. Probably my favorite action movie of the year. It was super intense. It was stylized in a way that wasn't over the top, even though it still kind of felt like that, but it still felt grounded. It was super colorful, but also super dreary. It had great art direction, and I thought some of the performances were great, and it got very moving at the end. Definitely a movie that you should all check out. Number 4 is a documentary. It was something that I was super interested to see, no matter if you're for him or against him for what he did. And that is Citizen4. This was super intense. It had me on the edge of my seat. It really explored Edward Snowden and just the situation in such a very intense and in-depth way, and it was something that really was super profound. So definitely, if you have the chance to see it, go see it. Number 3, a movie that I was looking forward to for a while. I didn't want to watch a lot. I want to go in kind of fresh, and probably, in my opinion, for sure, hands down, the best performance of the year, and that is Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. Oh my god. Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh my god. He was absolutely chilling and just brilliant. Some of the lines he had and just his deceptiveness, like the script in that movie. I loved the score, the intensity, the thrill ride, the darkness, and I definitely think that deserves number 3. Number 2 is also the exact same way. I was lucky that I finally was able to see this movie because I heard so many great things about it. Whiplash. Number 2. Miles Teller, phenomenal. J.K. Simmons, super scary. One of the most intense movies I've seen. Captivated the whole time. Beautiful editing. This was such an intense movie. But at number 1, yes, it is the answer I know a lot of people are giving. Obviously, I'm talking about Boyhood. When I went to see this, at the night that I went to see it, like in the summer, kind of heard everything about it. I heard everything leading up to it as sort of a, okay, this is the greatest movie of the year, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what, I want to go into it. And it's a long movie. It definitely is. It never felt that way. It was so interesting to see the profile of each year. It was such an emotional journey. And, you know, I think a lot of people are giving this movie credit because of the time it took. I understand that. But as a movie, I didn't look at it as, it took 12 years, so it's a cool thing. I never thought of it that way. I thought that this was such a journey, and seeing the things he went through, as well as the parents, Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette, and his sister, and what it means to grow up. And I thought it was such a beautiful and profound movie, and honestly, I knew the second I saw it that it was going to be very difficult. Nightcrawler and Whiplash were very close, but I mean, Boyhood is definitely number 1. So, what are your top 10 movies? Leave them in the comments below. Also, like I said, in the description box, I have some movies that I wasn't able to see that I feel like maybe at least would have been a mention or in the top 10, as well as sort of my 13, 12, and 11 movies. Hope you guys had a great new year. In the next week or so, I'm going to be doing my most anticipated movies of 2015, as well as my most anticipated albums of 2015. So let's have an awesome year. I hope you guys enjoyed my list, and as well as giving me your list so we can discuss. And yeah, this is Brian, and thank you for tuning in to Channel BK. Peace out, guys.